Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hello everyone. Welcome on today's lecture, that is Perfect Competition. Module 10, Lecture 1 of this series. I am Dr. Tilak Raj, currently working as Assistant Professor at University Business School, Punjab University, Chandigarh. The project name DTH Swayam Prabha MHRD, New Delhi. So let us discuss the outcomes of this lecture, this module. After completion of this module, you will be able to learn perfect competition, 2. Characteristics of the perfectly competitive market, 3. Price and output determination of the firm and industry under perfect competition, 3. Supply and demand in perfect competition, and the short-run equilibrium of the competitive firm under perfect competition and the long-run equilibrium of the competitive firm under perfect competition. In the last lecture, last module, we have discussed in detail about the structure, market structure. Two types of market structure: perfect competition, imperfect competition. Perfect competition, we mean, is a market structure where there is a large number of buyers and sellers are selling homogeneous product. The buyer as well as the sellers, consumer, they have perfect knowledge about the market. There may be a perfect mobility of the vector of production, but imperfect competition, the producers as well as the consumer, they don't have the perfect knowledge about the market. There's a heterogeneous product. Close substitutes are available in the market, no doubt. Like perfect competition, imperfect competition, also firm can enter, can exit. But in the perfect competition, the firms are the price taker. They don't have control over the price. Industry basically fix the price through demand and supply forces. Whereas in imperfect competition, there's a partial control over the price of the commodity. Let us discuss. The term market structure refers to the degree of competition prevailing in that particular market. Now, today we'll focus only the perfect competition, and the perfect competition in economic theory has meaning completely opposite to the everyone use of the term. It means there is no competition among the firms. Firms are producing and selling the homogeneous commodities. Perfect competition can be defined as a market structure characterized by the complete absence of competition among the individual firms. Firms are selling homogeneous product. There's no competition among them. There's no role of selling cost. And the market, basically the perfect competition refers to the market situation where there is a large number of buyers and sellers, and the sellers sell homogeneous product. The quality, the quantity, the price of the product are same, uniform price, and they enjoy freedom of enterprise. Perfect competition has defined by Leftwich that it is characterized by the presence of many firms. They sell identically the same product, but sellers is a price taker. Means they cannot influence the price. They cannot change the price. Firms are just price taker. Price are fixed by the industry. Industry means group of firms. And industry will fix the price through demand and supply force of the market. So demand and supply force, market mechanism will fix the price of a commodity, and the firms are just price taker, they are not price maker. In the words of Vilas, the perfect competition characterized by the presence of many firms, they sell identical product and the sellers are the price taker, not the price maker. Now finally, perfect competition when a consumer or seller is so small relative to entire market, they cannot influence the market price by changing the demand or output of the commodity. So hopefully definition you are able to learn, it is clear. Now next, what are the characteristics of the perfect competition? Some features of this perfect competition we'll discuss now. First is the large number of buyers and sellers. I have already stated that in perfect competition there are large number of buyers as well as sellers. There must be a large number of firms in the industry, and each individual firm supplies only the small part of the total quantity offered in the market. That's why the firm is not able to influence the market price. As a result, no individual firm can influence the price of the commodity. Similarly, buyers are also numerous. Hence, no individual buyer has any influence on the market price. They cannot affect the market price. Now, firms are the price taker, not price maker. I have already discussed in the earlier slides that firms are the price takers. The price of the product is determined by the collective forces of the industry through demand and supply. Firm is only the price taker. Each firm has to adjust its output or sale according to the prevailing market price. They have to sell their product. They have to increase or increase their profit at the prevailing price in the market, which is fixed by the industry. Firm cannot change the price. This is another important feature. Next, homogeneous product, which is the most important feature of this perfect competition. We have to assume that in the perfect competition, product are the homogeneous nature. In a perfect competition, all sellers sell homogeneous units of a given product. You cannot differentiate one product with another product. Similar quality, similar price, even similar quantity in that product. So product of any one firm is identical to the products of all other firms. There is no differentiation. There is no product differentiation. The technical characteristics of the product as well as the service associated with its sale delivery are also identical. Same manner they sell their product. Same system of the delivery of the product. Now, free entry and exit of firm. This is another important feature. Firm can freely enter in the market in that industry. There is no barrier to entry or exit of the firm in the industry. If the industry earn abnormal profit, means supernormal profit, new firm will enter, and if the firm in the industry incurring loss, then some firm of them can leave the industry. So if there is a profit in the market in that particular industry, new firm will enter without any obstacle. And if there is the industry has incurring the loss, then some firm will leave the market. So there is no restriction to entry and exit of the firm. There is no legal and social barrier on the entry of new firm into any industry. Another most important, absence of transport cost. We assume that neither buyers or sellers have to bear any transport cost because of they stay at the same place, so that there is a close contact between them. In the last lecture, I have given the example of local sabji mandis or vegetable fruits farmers. This can be just, we can quote the example of perfect competition, where buyer and seller have close substitute. There is no product differentiation. All farmers are selling the same fruit or vegetable in the market. Now, even there is absence of government regulation. There is no government intervention in form of the tariff, subsidies, relationship of the product. We have to assume that government absence in the regulations. So above these 6 assumptions or features, if there's these 6 assumptions, only 6 assumptions which we have discussed, it is called pure competition. But when the 2 more assumptions, 2 more features include in this market structure, that is perfect mobility and perfect knowledge of the market, perfect mobility of the factor of production and perfect knowledge of the market, then this market become the perfect competition. If we exclude these 2 features, one, perfect knowledge of the market, and perfect factor of production, perfect mobility of the factor of production, then the market become pure competition. But when we add these 2 features, it become the perfect competition. So perfect mobility of the factor of production. The factor of production are free to move from one firm to another firm throughout the economy. There is no restriction. They freely move. It also assumes that workers can also, they can move between the different jobs. There is no restriction. They free. There is perfect competition in the factor market also. Means all labor, all factor market has the homogeneous the labor or the factors. Last one, perfect knowledge. It is assumed that all sellers and buyers have complete knowledge of the condition of the market. They know about the price, they know about the quantity, the quality. And even the producer knows about the demand pattern of their commodity. This knowledge refers to not only to the prevailing condition in the current period, but may be all about the future period as well. And there's another important feature of the perfect knowledge. This knowledge or information is free and costless. Means there's no selling cost. There's no advertising cost in this market. Now, after characteristics, let us discuss the price determination under perfect competition. 2 important topics here. One is the price determination under perfect competition, and 2, equilibrium of the firm in this perfect competition. This is very, very important to understand if we are discussing the perfect competition. One, the price determination under perfect competition, and second one, the equilibrium of the firm under perfect competition. Equilibrium of the firm we'll discuss in coming slides by categorizing 2 important time period, one short period and long period. And price determination, short period, long period, very long period, and maybe very short period. Under perfect competition, the price of a commodity is not determined by individual firm or seller or the firm. We have already discussed. Who will determine the price? The market forces, that is demand and supply force of the commodity. and the point where the demand will intersect the supply. The interaction between these two forces is known as the equilibrium price. So we'll also discuss what is equilibrium price in detail. So you know that the market price and output is determined on the basis of consumer demand and supply of the market. Further, it can be explained with the help of following graph. Let us discuss this graph. Simple, as we know that demand curve is downward sloping, supply curve is upward sloping. We have already discussed what is demand, what is supply, and here where the demand intersect the supply, this point is equilibrium point. This is the equilibrium point, equilibrium price, where demand intersect the supply. Now, the point here to be noted that if the price of the commodity will increase, then what will happen? Higher the price, higher will be the supply, then here surplus supply, but demand will decrease. But demand will decrease it in this point. And if the price will decrease here, then supply will reduce because of the fundamental law of supply. If the price of the commodity will less, the supply will be less, but demand will be higher because of that lower the price, higher will be the demand. So the market forces here fix the price of a commodity. Industry will fix the price of the commodity, not by the individual. So this that will be the equilibrium price, and this will be determined by the demand and supply force of the market. If price will be high, supply will be more, and there will be a surplus. If the price will be less, then supply will be less, but demand will be high, and this is called as the shortage of the commodity. Let us discuss now the demand curve under perfect competition. Demand curve of the firm. Demand curve of the firm. Now see, the same diagram we already discussed right now. This is the this is the point where demand is equal to supply, equilibrium point. Industries, this A shows the industry demand and supply curve, but B firm demand curve, and we have already discussed that AR will be equal to MR in case of this, and where demand curve intersect the supply equilibrium, this is the equilibrium point. The firm demand curve, this PP, parallel to O axis, signifying that the demand can or firm can sell any number of units at OP prices. PP is also equal to revenue as well as margin revenue, average revenue. And under the condition of AR and MR, we assume this is a constant. AR is equal to MR. It's a constant. The curve basically horizontal to x-axis. So the demand curve in case of perfect competition will be the horizontal to x-axis. This price, OP price, the firm cannot change this price. This price will fix by the industry. If firm cannot change the price, so firm has to sell the commodity at OP price. Now, the time element is very, very important when we are discussing the determination of price. The price of good will be influenced more by the demand and supply. It depends upon the time taken by demand and supply to adjust themselves. Maybe long term, there's a the demand and supply has more time to take the adjustment themselves, but in the short time it's not possible. There's some very short period, maybe there's a no time to adjust themselves. Price of a commodity in an industry is determined at the point where industry demand curve is equal to supply curve. We have already discussed. Now let us discuss the Marshall has that the emphasizes on the role of time element in determination of price. The Marshall is economist who has divided the time in various categories. He distinguished four periods in which equilibrium demand and supply was brought about. The first is very short period, which is also known as the market price. Very short period, or is also known as the market price. Then short period, which is a subnormal price. Long period, maybe, and there can be very long period. So let us discuss briefly one by one. What is the short period, long period, and very long period? Price is determined by the equilibrium between demand and supply force in the market. This is we have that accepted, and this is the fundamental law of this perfect competition when we are discussing the determination of the price. In the market period, the supply of a commodity is fixed. In the short period, the supply of a commodity is fixed. The firm can sell only what they have already produced. They cannot produce more than beyond their existing capacity. It means in this period, in the very short period, the demand is more powerful. This market period may be an hour, a day, or maybe few days, or maybe week, or depending upon the nature of product. But the important thing, the supply curve in the market is basically two types, and demand is very, very important factor, because supply it depends upon the demand of the commodity. But supply curve, there can be supply of the perishable goods and durable goods. Two types of goods: perishable goods and supply and durable. Perishable goods like vegetable, fish, and the commodity which has no longer life. The supply is given and cannot kept for the next period. You cannot kept the milk or maybe some vegetable for longer period. Therefore, the whole of it must be sold away on the same day, maybe in a week, whatever the price. So you don't have the time to store these commodities. Supply curve will be vertical straight line. Whereas if the commodity is a durable good, its supply can be adjusted to the demand. The firm can keep on supplying out of its existing stock only up to the availability of the stocks. Firm cannot increase the existing stock at the very short period. The demand increases beyond that level, the firm cannot supply any additional quantity of the good. If the demand increases beyond at a particular level, the firm cannot supply, because the firm cannot produce a commodity over a day or in a existing capacity of the product. The firm they cannot provide additional supply. The supply curve of the durable goods is upward sloping up to a distance and then becomes vertical. Now, in case of durable, the supply is fixed and demand will influence the price. For example, this E and the DD SM is the initial demand curve and supply curve, and this is the price P. OP is the price, OM is the equilibrium of the commodity. Here commodity is equilibrium. We are assuming that supply cannot, because of the perishable goods, supply cannot increase beyond the existing stock. So if the demand will increase, price will increase. Demand will decrease, P to P2, a new equilibrium will be there, E2. and there will be, but we cannot increase the supply. Here demand influence the price of the commodity, not supply. But in case of durable commodities, no doubt as supply, because we have the short period, demand will increase and maybe quantity. This is initial point. As demand will increase, supply is constant. Supply cannot be increased after. But up to here, this supply is the upward curve, but after this, it becomes the constant. SF. Now, we cannot increase the supply, but maybe as to F, we can increase the supply of the commodity. Now, again, the demand is very, very important. Factors which affect the price. It means the short period, the not supply but demand will affect the price of a commodity. In the short period, the firm can vary its supply by changing the variable factors. Some factor will be fixed in some factor will be variable, other factors will be fixed in the short period. You cannot change the scale of your product or fixed factor of the firm. The number of firms in industry cannot be increased or decreased in the short period. Thus, the supply of the industry can be changed only within the limits set by the plant capacity of the existing firm. You cannot increase anything beyond the existing capacity. The short period price is determined by the interaction of short period supply and short period demand curve. Now, let us discuss the long period. Long period comes to prevail in the long period. You have sufficient time to adjust the commodity. Long period, also called as the long period price. Normal price, basically, it is also known as the normal price. Normal price is one that tends to be prevail in the long period. Under perfect competition, the long run supply gets sufficient time to adjust itself, to change the condition of the demand. If the supply is less than demand, then the price will rise, and so also profit of the products will increase. And rising profit will attempt new firms in the industry, and new firm will enter in that industry, and thus the total supply of will also increase, and all that producer will get now the normal profit. So in the short run, maybe in the earliest stage or in the long run, the maybe new firm will enter, but the supply after when there is a normal price, normal profit, the firm cannot enter in that market. If the supply is more than demand, price will fall and the producer suffers losses. Some of the producers may leave the industry under the pain of loss. Thus, the total supply will decrease, and once again, price will rise to its normal level. So, in the long run, supply is adjusted to meet the demand condition, new demand condition. If there is an increase in demand, the firm in long run will expand output by increasing fixed factor production. All factor production are variable in the long run. Long run, new firm can enter and they can adjust this. The sufficient time they have to adjust the supplies. Now, let us discuss the determination of price in long run. Same diagram, but the point here is the important thing we have to discuss. You know that x-axis we have the quantity and y-axis we have price. Now, the important things to be noted here that if the price will increase P to P1, already we have discussed this AB, the surplus, supply will be more as price increases. But if the price will increase, then demand will decrease. So there are some market forces which will reduce the price, and again the price will be at the P point. And if the price will reduce P to P2, then what will happen? Supply will be less and demand will be high. Supply will be less and demand will be high. So to increase supply, again we have to increase the price, P2 to P. So there's a market forces which will fix the price at this point, equilibrium point. So long period will be, price is known as the normal price, and it will remain here at E point. Now very long period we have already discussed in last lecture, that is secular period, on which changes take place like factors, population, if the population will increase or decrease, supply of capital will increase or decrease, raw material will affect, taste and preferences of the consumer will affect. So in the long run, there can be a trade cycle, fluctuation in the economy. It refers the time period in which basic changes can affected both demand and supply. Demand is influenced by the change in the size of population, taste and habits, etc. So supply is influenced by the changes, maybe techniques of the production. Demand will influenced by the change in the taste and preferences of the consumer, size of population, income of the consumer, and maybe so on. But supply will affect by change in the technique of production or new invention, new technology in the market. So this was the regarding the time, importance of time in the perfect competition. Now the second part, I have stated that two important things in this chapter. One is the price determination under perfect competition, and second one, equilibrium of the firm and industry under perfect competition. Equilibrium of the firm and industry under the perfect competition. Now equilibrium of the firm in the short run and long run, equilibrium of the industry in the short run and long run. Let us discuss in detail one by one. Meaning of the firm. A firm is a unit engaged in product for sale at profit and with the objective of maximizing the profit. The firm has to, or the main objective is to earn maximum profit. A firm is a single producing unit. A firm is a commercial enterprise, a company that buys and sells production or services to the consumer with the main aim making profit. It means profit is the main objective of the firm. Although nowadays there can be some more objective. For example, sales maximization can be another objective. Sustainability of the firm is there can be another objective, but the main objective is to earn the profit. A group of firm is called industry. So let us discuss the equilibrium of firm and industry. Equilibrium of the firm. A firm is in equilibrium when it is satisfied with its existing amount of output. Means it must have sufficient the amount of output which may be earn the profit. A firm is in equilibrium when it maximizes its profit. Meaning a firm is in equilibrium when it produces that amount of output at which the difference between the total revenue and total cost should be maximum. A firm is in equilibrium has no tendency either to increase or decrease the output. A situation when firm will not want to increase, not want to change the situation, not want to increase the output, not want to decrease the output is called the equilibrium of the firm. Equilibrium of the firm in the short run. Let us discuss the equilibrium form in the short run, equilibrium form in the long run. The short run is a period of time in which firm can vary its output by changing the variable factor of production. In the short run, all factor of production will not be variable. Only labor, say for example, will be variable in the short run. In the short run, firm should produce that output at which it maximizes profits or minimizes its loss. A firm are the price taker, we have already discussed. Each firm in an industry tries to maximize its output by adjusting the output level where MC is equal to MR. Firm is not price maker. Industry is the price maker in case of perfect competition. Firm are just price taker. Firm has to increase the profit with the given price, which is fixed by the demand and supply forces of the market, that is industry. I have already stated that a group of firm is industry. So industry will fix the price. Industry is the price maker and firm is the just price taker in the short run or in the perfect competition. The equilibrium of firm basically has one motive, profit maximization. And this can be measured. There are two important analytical tools to measure the equilibrium of the firm or profit maximization. One, total revenue and total cost approach, and second, margin revenue and marginal cost approach. There are two approaches. Now let us discuss the total revenue and total cost approach. A firm is in equilibrium when it is earning maximum profit. A firm's total profit can be estimated by the difference between total revenue and total cost. Meaning why, when total revenue will be more than total cost, firm will be in equilibrium. The firm is gaining now the profit. When total revenue, total cost, it means there is equilibrium, no profit, no loss, break-even point. And when total revenue will be less than total cost, it means firm in a loss. So here pi TR minus TC. Pi means here, this means profit. TR means total revenue. TC means total cost. Now let us explain with the help of this very important graph. Here on the y-axis we have the amount, rupees, profit, and here we have the quantity. X-axis we have quantity, x-axis we have quantity, and this is curve, blue line curve is the total profit or loss curve. This is TR, the total revenue curve. TC is the total cost curve, and let us discuss what is basically this graph explain. See, the firm is in equilibrium when it produces it produces that amount of output at which the difference between total revenue and total cost, that is profit, is maximum. Here economic profit, this profit is maximum. This situation, that will be when the gap between total revenue and total cost will be maximum. Now when the firm produces less, for example this Q less the OQ, less than OQ unit of output, it occurs loss, because this OQ amount of the total cost is more than total revenue. Here total cost, this red line, is more than total cost. Here this is more than total cost. So the firm will have a loss. Now when firm will produce OQ quantity, say this up to here, OQ quantity, and now there will be equilibrium, break even point, no profit, no loss. But when firm will produce OQ star quantity up to here, OQ star. Now this is the point where the gap between total revenue and total cost is maximum. So here firm has the maximum profit. And when the firm produce OQ, this 2 commas quantity, then again there is equilibrium point, there is a break-even point where TR is equal to TC, and but here the that beyond this point, the total cost is increasing and total revenue is decreasing. So again there is a loss. So firm will be in equilibrium in 2 points, break-even point. But point is where will be the firm is gain maximum profit. So this is the point where firm has the maximum profit when the firm will produce OQ star quantity. Now next approach is total revenue and total cost approach. Total revenue and total cost approach. Total revenue and total cost approach we'll discuss. We have already discussed that the goal of a competitive firm is to maximize the profit which equal to the revenue minus total cost. In the last lecture we have discussed. This means the firm will want to produce the quantity that maximize the difference between the total revenue and total cost. There should be a gap between the total revenue and total cost. Revenue should be more than total cost. So margin revenue and marginal cost are the second approach to discuss the equilibrium of the firm, where now the firm is in equilibrium at the point of intersection of marginal cost and margin revenue. Marginal cost, additional cost, margin revenue, additional revenue we have already discussed in last lecture. So here the equilibrium point will be when margin revenue will be marginal cost, but the marginal cost must intersect the margin revenue from the below. The first condition of equilibrium of the firm is that marginal cost should be equal to margin revenue, and the second condition, the equilibrium required marginal cost curve should cut margin revenue from the below. Let us discuss with the help of this diagram. But something more. For example, the aim of every firm is to obtain the maximum profit, and if MR margin revenue will be greater than marginal cost, there will be profit. When margin revenue will be less than marginal cost, I have already stated, then there will be loss. And if the margin revenue is equal to margin cost is equal to margin revenue, this will be the equilibrium. Now, with the help of this diagram, I will explain that where will the firm will be in equilibrium. Now x-axis we have quantity, y-axis we have here we have price, cost and revenue. Y-axis. Now AR in perfect competition is equal to MR, even it is equal to demand and price also. Now the condition is, this is most usable, that popular techniques to calculate the equilibrium of the firm in the short run. This is MC is the marginal cost curve. MC is the marginal cost curve. The condition we have discussed that MC should be equal to MR, and MC cuts MR from below. At the point A, when firm produce OM quantity, here marginal cost is margin revenue. Here again the first condition where margin revenue is marginal cost, but the marginal cost intersect the margin revenue from the above, whereas the second condition, marginal cost must intersect margin revenue from below. So this is the point where the firm will be in equilibrium. Although here, when the gap between marginal cost and margin revenue is high, here firm has the maximum output or profit, but the firm will be in equilibrium. Firm will not want to change this position. Here margin revenue is marginal cost, and marginal cost intersect margin revenue from the below. Now let us discuss the determinants or determination of short-term equilibrium of the firm. A firm in the short run may be face three situations. It may earn supernormal profit, it may earn normal profit, or it may suffer the loss. So the determination of the short-term equilibrium firm face When if AR is tangent to the AC, when average revenue is equal to average cost, it means there will be a normal profit. When average revenue curve will be tangent to average cost curve, the firm will have a normal profit. If AR is above the AC, means average revenue is more than average cost, the firm will have supernormal profit. And when average revenue is below than average cost, the firm will be in a loss. So let us discuss with the help of, and one of these all things will helpful in decision making in management. But for the equilibrium, we need the demand curve as well as supply curve. So let us discuss about the demand curve in case of perfect competition. Firm is price taker, not price maker, we know. Its decision have no effect on market price because of the industry will fix the price. Whether it is increases or decreases, its output won't significant effect on the market price. Thus, firm demand will be infinity, and it will be like straight line here. AR is equal to MR. Average, because of average revenue, or this will be equal to average margin revenue and equal to demand. So, in case of the perfect competition in the that average revenue is equal to average margin revenue, and this will equal to the demand. So demand curve will be straight line horizontal with the x-axis, whereas demand curve of industry, it will be downward sloping. Demand curve, margin revenue is equal to AR is equal to P only in case of perfect competition. Now here I have already stated that this is the firm industry's demand curve and industry supply curve. The industry will market demand curve, basically market forces, demand and supply forces of market. This will fix the price in case of perfect competition of the firm. So demand curve or price will be like this, horizontal with x-axis. Now supply curve, marginal cost curve will be the supply curve of the firm in case of perfect competition, especially during the short period, short run. Equilibrium of the short run, there can be two conditions we have to find out. One, marginal cost should be equal to margin revenue, and marginal cost cuts MR from below. The point where margin revenue will be equal to marginal cost and marginal cost intersect the margin revenue from below will be the equilibrium point. See, here again x-axis we have output, here revenue and price. The point where this is marginal cost curve, green is marginal cost curve, this one average cost curve, and red is demand or AR or MR. Now equilibrium of the firm, MC should be equal to MR and MC cuts MR from below. This is the equilibrium point. MC is equal to MR, MC cuts MR from below. E is the equilibrium point. But because of firm can earn supernormal profit in the short run there can be, we have already discussed that three stages can be the supernormal profit, normal profit and loss. I have told you that when this average cost curve will be less than, so average cost curve will be less than average revenue, the firm will have a supernormal profit. So this is average cost curve, this is average revenue curve. Average cost curve is less than average revenue, so EABP is this blue is the supernormal profit. EABP is the supernormal profit when average cost is less than average revenue. Average cost is less than average revenue. If firm is equilibrium when marginal cost is equal to margin revenue, and marginal revenue curve must cuts margin revenue from the below. We have already that this is the point from below. A firm equilibrium earns supernormal profit when average revenue is more than average cost. Now, next, normal profit. Normal profit means no profit, no loss. The point where average cost is average revenue. Average cost is equal to average revenue. This is the no profit, no loss. But equilibrium, we need MC is equal to MR and MC cuts MR from below. So this is the equilibrium point where MC is equal to MR and MC cuts MR from below. But in case of normal profit, average cost is equal to average revenue or margin revenue. This point is no profit, no loss. Means when firm is producing OQ quantity, OP is the price of the commodity what the firm produces, and this is the equilibrium point. Here we have no profit, no loss situation. When average cost curve is tangent with the average revenue curve. In the previous slide, this average cost curve was less than average revenue. Cost less, revenue more. It means there was profit. But here we have average cost is equal to average revenue, so no profit, no loss. And third situation, here we have the loss, minimum loss. When firm in equilibrium, firm can face, no doubt, the supernormal profit can be there, normal profit can be there, and the third condition is the minimum loss. A firm in equilibrium may minimum loss when average cost of the equilibrium output is more than average revenue. Minimum cost, here you know that this average cost is more than average revenue. BE. P is the price. For example, here OP is the price. Whereas PP1, BE, this whole area shows the minimum loss. Firm can occur minimum loss during the short period of time. Now, here again equilibrium condition is here, where MC is equal to MR, MC cuts MR from below. So firm can face three situations in case of short period. Firm can have a supernormal profit, firm can have a normal profit, and last one, it can have the minimum loss. Now let us discuss the equilibrium firm in the long run. In the long run, firms can have just the normal profit, no supernormal profit, no minimum loss. Because of if there is a supernormal profit, there is scope of more profit, the firm will enter in that industry. And if there is a loss, then firm will exit the industry because of the free entry and exit. And this is the important feature of a perfect competition. So now see this point. Now equilibrium here again, in case of perfect competition, like in the short run we have average cost curve is equal to average revenue, and margin revenue intersect the marginal cost intersect margin revenue from the below. But here we have this long run average revenue, margin revenue. This is long run average cost, and this short run average cost. Because of the long run marginal cost curve, short run marginal cost curve, long run average cost curve, long run marginal, short run average cost, all will be equal. Long run average cost curve will be equal to short run average cost. It will be equal to short run marginal cost, and it's equal to long run marginal cost, and it's equal to long run average cost curve. So this point shows the normal profit in the long run. Long run, firm will not earn the supernormal profit, neither minimum loss, but in the long run, firm under the perfect competition will earn only normal profit. Why? Because of if there is a possibility of supernormal profit, more firm will enter, and if there is a loss, then firm will be exit. So firm will only earn the normal profit in case of long run. Now, given market demand and supply, now let us discuss the equilibrium of industry. Industry is a group of firm. So, the given demand and market supply, the industry is in equilibrium at the point at which quantity demanded is equal to quantity supplied. We have already discussed through a diagram. The industry in the long run will be in equilibrium when price is reached, which all firms are in equilibrium, producing at the minimum point of LAC and making just nominal profit. When all firms are producing the normal profit, they are in equilibrium position. They reaches the point of minimum point of long run average cost and making just nominal profit. The industry will be in equilibrium. So if the firms are in equilibrium position, the industry will be in equilibrium position, whether the short run or whether the long run. Under these conditions, there is no further entry or exit of the firm in the industry in the long run. Short run, maybe there can be a possibility of enter of the firm and exit, but in the long run, now because of this a normal profit, so maybe more firm will not enter in that industry. Let us discuss with the help of diagram. Same diagram we have already discussed. The demand and supply forces of the market fix the price, no doubt, but the equilibrium of industry will be here when all firms will be in equilibrium. When long run average cost curve equal to long run marginal cost curve, long run average cost and even revenue curve will be equal to long run marginal revenue, and long run marginal cost curve will be long run marginal short run marginal cost curve. So all firms will be in equilibrium, the industry will be in equilibrium in the long run. Now let us summarize the whole lecture. In this module, in the first part, we have discussed the features of perfect competition, the meaning of a perfect competition, the characteristics of a perfect competition. Perfect competition refers to a market situation where there is a large number of buyers and sellers. They are selling homogeneous product. There is free entry and exit. Firm can enter, firm can exit. Firms are the price taker, not price maker. So, second part, we have made an extensive study made on the price determination during the short run and long run. Whether the perishable for the perishable goods or the durable goods in the long run as well as the short run. Demand and supply play very important role. In the short run, supply cannot exceed beyond the existing capacity. So demand play important role. But in the long run, both. But they believe supply is more important. We have also discussed in detail about the two approaches of profit maximization: total revenue and total cost approach, margin revenue and marginal cost approach. Two approaches, TRTC and MRMC approach. And finally, we have discussed about the short run equilibrium of the firm and long run equilibrium of the firm. If average revenue is tangent to the average cost, there will be a nominal profit. We have explained with the help of diagram. And if AR is above the average cost, there will be supernormal profit, we have already discussed. And if AR is below the average cost, there will be a minimum loss. So firm can face three situations: normal profit, supernormal profit, and minimum loss. So with this, thank you very much.